Hi, my name's Niky and this is Caitlin, and together we're really looking forward to sharing just a short routine that you can do at home for yourself in order to try and strengthen your core, pelvis and postural muscles. So if you start at home with a mat on the floor and come onto all fours. So just to loosen up the rib cage, if we now go into a simple cat-cow stretch where you'll inhale and lift the tail and the heart. And then exhale and round the spine and lowering the chin. And let's do that twice more. So just a gentle inhale, opening the heart and lifting the tail, and then exhale and rounding the spine and just letting the chin lower, almost like you're trying to push the floor away. And we'll do one more of those. And then from here, we'll loosen up the rib cage with a simple thread needle stretch. So you can take your left hand through onto the floor and twisting the body around until you feel a stretch in your rib cage. And then inhale, come up. We'll do maybe two more on that left side and then swap sides. Just to loosen off the rib cage. Great. And so make sure your chin stays tucked under slightly just to protect the neck. You can round the spine as you go. Excellent. Then from here you can make your way over onto your back. And you'll take a yoga belt, and if you don't have a yoga belt at home, you can try just a strap or a tie or even a towel. And you'll place this just around your right foot because we'll stretch out the hips now. So extending the right leg into the air, we'll take 3 breaths to stretch into the back of the hamstring. So when you breathe in, simply open up the rib cage, open up the shoulders and try and pull the leg into a stretch. And as you exhale, see if you can just soften your muscles and try to relax into the stretch. So you can alternate with the breath. As you inhale, create some effort. And as you exhale, create a little bit of ease. And then from there, we'll simply swap sides. So you'll take the strap now over onto your left leg and we'll take a stretch into the left hamstring. So remembering if your hamstring is really tight, you can actually do this with a soft knee. So if you want to bend your knee a little bit, that's absolutely fine. But when we inhale, you'll simply open up the shoulders, lengthen the neck and try and use your arms to pull your leg into a stretch at the back of the hamstring. And then as you exhale, try to relax into that stretch. So alternating between effort and ease just simply with the breath. Great. And then from there, we can put the strap to one side and we'll try just a gentle buttock stretch. And you'll do this by hugging the right knee, or we can try with the left. Let's hug the left knee toward the chest with the left hand and then reach for that ankle with the right hand. Now, if you can't reach your ankle, you can use the strap around your ankle and just have a really gentle buttock stretch, and we'll take 3 breaths here. So no pain with this, just a gentle stretch. And again, as you inhale, you can create some effort by pulling on the ankle. And as you exhale, you can just soften into the stretch. Be mindful to not let your knee go too far out to the side. If your knee's a little bit toward the middle, you'll actually get a slightly stronger buttock stretch. Let's swap sides. So we'll then hug the right knee up toward the chest, hold your right knee with your right hand, and then simply take your ankle with your left hand. And again, if you can't reach your ankle, you can simply put your tie or your strap around your ankle and use the strap. And we'll take 3 breaths here. So again, as you breathe in, try to create a little effort, and as you breathe out, try to soften into the stretch. So we'll just take 2 more breaths with that. Great. And then from there now, let's start a little bit of strengthening. So we'll start by placing the band around the knees for an exercise to try and build on your hip stability muscles, so your gluteals. You can take your strap around just above the knees. Have your feet kind of hip width apart and just make sure the knees are a little out into the band. You'll lift your pelvic floor so your core muscles are engaged. You'll press through your heels and lift the hips up toward the ceiling and then lower down. We're going to do a set of 5 here, and this becomes a little bit of a warm-up. So a set of 5, lifting and lowering. Try not to lift too high, just a comfortable range. If it's pressure in the lower back, then don't lift so high. So 2 more of those just in an even position, and then we'll progress to what we call a split bridge. So you'll simply extend your right leg a little bit further away, and we'll do a set of 10 now through the left heel. So you can lift and lower through the left heel, and you'll feel your left gluteal work. Now you'll keep your right foot on the ground, but keep it a little bit lighter if you can, so the left gluteal does the work. Try to make sure that your pelvis stays square, which means your two front hip bones, a bit like headlights, stay pointing straight ahead toward the ceiling, so no twisting. So we've got 3 more to do on the left. And then we'll simply swap sides. So take the right leg closer, extend the left leg away, make the left leg a little lighter, and then press through the right heel to lift and lower. Try to make sure that your pelvic floor stays engaged as you do this. Don't lift too high, just a comfortable distance. Make sure the weight's through the heel. Keep the knees a little apart into the band, and remember your hip headlights so they stay pointing straight ahead. Try to relax the neck and the shoulders with this. So we'll do 3 more on the right, and then we'll do another set of 10 on each side. So we're really working the glutes. So then 10 more on the left, so simply swapping over, make your right leg quite light, you'll press through the left heel and lift your hips up toward the ceiling. Make sure your knees stay apart into the band, especially the left leg right now. Keep your pelvic floor lightly engaged, relax the neck and the jaw. And as you press through the heel, you'll feel your buttock muscles working. We'll do 3 more on the left. And then we've got 1 more set to do on the right side. So bring your right leg a bit closer, extend your left leg away, engage your pelvic floor, and then press through the right heel to lift and lower. And again, remembering your hip headlights stay square, your pelvic floor stays gently lifted, your knees stay apart, pressing on your heel. And just a comfortable height. Great, we've got 3 more to do on the right. And you should feel like your butt muscle's done some work. Once you've finished that, you can take the band off, and we'll simply hug the knees up toward the chest and have a little stretch at the back of the hips. So you can hug both knees up toward the chest. Then simply extend your left leg away and hug the right knee toward the chest. Maybe point and flex that left foot a little to circulate the calf muscles, and then swapping sides. So hug the left knee up toward the chest and stretch the right leg away and point and flex. Beautiful. Now let's work towards some core work. So you'll take both of your feet on the floor, have your hands comfortably by your side, keep your neck and shoulders relaxed, and you'll gently engage your pelvic floor. Then you'll float your right foot up into a tabletop position and then come back down. Let's simply do 5 of those on the right and then 5 on the left. So as you lift up into tabletop and back down, keep your pelvic floor engaged. Don't let your back arch increase or decrease. Keep your leg that's on the floor, your left leg, a little bit light if you can, but don't let your tummy pop out. Once you've done 5 on the right as a bit of a warm-up, we'll do 5 on the left. So again, keeping that right leg that's on the floor a little bit light. Keep the pelvic floor engaged. Relax the shoulders. And just 5 as a little bit of a warm-up. Great, so then we'll take it into a slightly stronger core exercise. Take your right foot into tabletop now. Engage the pelvic floor and core, and as you breathe out, extend the leg out to tap the floor, and then inhale, come back. Now let's do 10 on the right and we'll do 10 on the left. So as you exhale to take the leg out to tap the floor, try not to let your back arch increase or decrease. A normal little arch is fine, but just don't want that to change. You'll try and breathe out on the way out and in on the way back. Remembering the further you take the leg, the harder it is. So if you're struggling and your core is popping out, take your leg just a little closer and that's absolutely fine. Keep your left leg a little bit light on the ground so you're not pressing too hard on that left leg. And let's do 2 more on the right side and then we'll swap sides. Great. And then again, taking your left foot into tabletop, lift the pelvic floor, breathe out on the way out and in on the way back. Out on the way out and in on the way back. Beautiful. So we'll do a set of 10 here on the left. Try to make sure that your right leg stays a little bit light. Relax the shoulders, relax the jaw. Your pelvic floor stays lifted. We'll do 3 more on that left side. Beautiful. Once you've done that, you'll just hug both knees up toward the chest again. We'll do one more core exercise, a slightly harder one. If your core is not strong enough or you've had a history of lower back pain, you can repeat the last exercise. But let's now take both feet into tabletop. So we'll take one leg at a time if we can. Yeah, lift your pelvic floor and core, and then you're going to breathe out and just tap the right leg to the floor and inhale, come back, and then we'll swap sides. So we'll do an alternate tap. Remember, the further away you go with your leg, the harder it is to maintain your core stability. So stick a little closer if you need to, but we'll do 10 on each leg. So breathing out on the way out, in on the way back, pelvic floor stays lifted. Don't let your back arch increase and don't push it flat to the floor. Just a little arch is maintained. Remembering, if this is too strong for you, you go back to the easier exercise and do 1 set of 10 on each side as we did the last set. Beautiful. So we'll do, yes, that's beautiful, perfect. So from there, we've finished a little bit of a core workout. Now I'd like to take you onto your side just to help open up the rib cage again. So roll now onto your right side and we'll do a book opener stretch. So you'll take both hands in front of you. If your neck's not comfortable, a little pillow underneath the neck is sometimes fine. And as you inhale, take your left hand up and over and take a nice spinal twist. And then as you exhale, you can bring your hand back around. And let's do this twice more. So breathing in, really opening up the shoulders, breathing out, coming back to the center, and doing that once more. Beautiful. And then from your side, we'll now do a set of clams. Now, if your neck is uncomfortable, you can simply take that bottom hand just to rest underneath the neck. Otherwise, a little pillow under the neck will be fine. In the clam position now, your feet are together. What I'd like you to do is to lift your knee up toward the ceiling, and we're going to do a set of 10 clams here and then back down. So when you do your clam, try not to let your knee roll all the way back, almost like your knee is sliding up a window pane without, so maintaining touching the window pane without rolling back. You'll get a better glute workout that way. So we'll do 10 clam exercises, and this again to wake up the gluteal muscles. See if you can lift your pelvic floor as you do this so that you maintain some of your pelvic stability. So we'll do 3 more, remembering that you probably won't lift too high, and that's okay. You don't want to roll back at the same time. Beautiful. And then from there, we'll simply roll onto the back. And we'll do a little knee hug stretch again. So hug your left knee towards your chest and stretch your right leg away, and just point and flex your feet. And then swapping sides. Then from there, you can simply roll now onto your other side. So taking your time, rolling onto your other side. Again, using a little pillow if you need to. Let's start with a book opener stretch. So you'll breathe in, opening up the arms, opening up the shoulders, breathing out, come back. Try to relax your belly when you do this. So we'll do 3 of these all together. So you're allowing your belly to expand as you inhale and relax as you exhale. Often it is when we're stressed, our bellies become very tight at the top, which restricts our breathing pattern. So this is a nice way to allow that to relax and to simply breathe in and open up the ribs and open up the diaphragm. Beautiful. And then we'll do a set of 10 of our clams. So again, taking the bottom hand just under to protect the neck if you need to, or using a pillow, having your legs in a comfortable position. You're going to lift your top knee up toward the ceiling and then back down, and you'll do a set of 10. So remembering with this, you're not going to roll your body back. You're just going to imagine that that knee is sliding up a window pane, and you won't go too far, and that's okay, but you will get a workout in your glutes. So a set of 10 here to balance the system. Great. And then from there, you can now just roll yourself up and come up onto all fours and stand up. So we'll take now just a stretch for the calves and the quadriceps before we do some squats and lunges. So a simple calf stretch, you can take your left leg back and your right leg forward. If you'd like to increase that stretch, you can pop your back toe on a towel and that'll give you a stronger stretch in your calf. So a nice calf stretch that we'll do, and let's just hold this for 3 breaths. Try to relax the toes and keep the toes nice and long and soft. And then we'll simply swap sides, so taking the right toe onto the towel and stepping the left leg forward, yes. And then you'll get a stretch in the back of the left calf, and you should feel it somewhere behind your knee or a little lower than that, and relax your toes. Great. And then from there we'll take a stretch at the front of the thigh. Now you can either use your strap, or if you can reach your ankle, you'll take your left hand behind you to reach for your left ankle. Now again, if you can't reach your ankle, simply using the strap is a nice way of doing this. No knee pain with this, so just a nice stretch at the front of the quads. Yes, and stand nice and tall in the body. Be really long on the other leg. If you need your hand nearby on a wall just for balance, that's fine. So we'll just take 3 breaths to stretch the quads. Beautiful. And then we can simply swap sides. So remembering, if you don't need a strap, just take the hand around the ankle, otherwise use your strap around the foot. And then be really long in the body, nice and tall, and just bringing the heel toward the bottom. Again, just let's take 3 breaths with this, and no knee pain with this, just a stretch at the front of the thigh. Beautiful. Then from there, we'll take now a little bit more of a functional pelvic strengthening routine, and so we'll start with a set of squats. So take your feet sort of hip width apart. Yes, use your band, perfect. So if you've got your band, place the band around the knees. And you can have your hands on your hips, engage your core and pelvic floor. We're going to start with just a set of 5 even squats. So you're going to fold at the hips, beautiful, and take the weight through your heels, a bit like sitting in a chair that's a bit too far away. Try not to let your knees track forward, so the weight stays on your heels. If your weight goes too far forward on the knees, sometimes this can be uncomfortable on the knees. So hinging at the hips, bottom goes wide, and try to make sure your pelvic floor stays a little lifted with this. Great. Once you've done a set of 5 of these as your warm-up, then we'll simply go on to taking the weight onto one side. So take your right toe back. Yes. And it doesn't have to be back too far, just a short distance is okay. Keep your knees apart in the band, and we'll continue the same exercise. So bottom goes out, and then you'll press through the heel to come back up. And we'll do a set of 10 on these on this side. So as you do this exercise, try to keep the weight on the front heel. So you don't want to take the weight onto the back leg, because that can hurt the knee. The back leg's there for support. It's just not going to take a lot of weight. So the pressure goes through the front heel, a bit like sitting in a chair that's too far behind you. Keep your knees pressing out into the band. And as you press through the front heel, you'll feel like your left buttock does some work. Try to keep your core lightly engaged. Try not to let your chest and your pelvis come closer together or further apart as you come down. They stay the same distance apart, so that way you're just folding at the hip. We can then swap sides. So once you've done 10 on the left, we'll then do 10 on the right. So you're keeping your back toe a little bit light, keeping the pressure on your front heel, folding at the hips, keeping your knees apart into the band. You can do a little check of your hip headlights, so make sure your 2 front hip bones are pointing straight ahead. It can be really common for the front hip to want to go forward, which creates a twist, so they need to stay square. You fold at the hips like you're sitting in a chair that's too far away. Keep your toes relaxed, keep your pelvic floor lifted, and use your heel to stand up and sit down. Once you've done 10, let's do 10 more on each side. So we're going to give the glutes a bit of a workout. So the right toe goes back, stay nice and long, fold at the hips, butt goes out, knees stay apart. Let's do a set of 10 here on the left leg. So your right toe is a little bit light, you're pressing through your left heel to come up. And as you do this, as long as your knees are apart into the band, the key point with this as well is to not let that left knee go too far forward, because then it can hurt the knee. The weight goes back. 3 more on the left side, and then we'll simply swap sides. Hip headlights stay on, pelvic floor stays lifted, almost like folding your chest forward and sticking your bottom out to sit in a chair. Keep the toes relaxed on that right side, keep the pressure through the right heel, and then as you press up, you'll feel like your bum's doing some work. So we've got 4 more to go on the right side. Beautiful. And then once we've done that, you can take the band off. Let's switch up and do a little bit of arm work now. And now, because you won't have a lot of equipment at home necessarily, we're going to start with just a press up on the wall. So take your fingertips and your hands up toward the wall, shoulder blades back and lift the chest. And let's do a set of 10 mini press ups against the wall. Try to stay long in your body and your pelvic floor stays on. Try not to let your arch of your lower back increase, because we don't want to sag into the lower back. The core stays on, but you're just going to be pressing through your arms to get your biceps working. So we'll do 10 of these. Beautiful. And once you've done 10, we're going to mix this up now and do a bicep curl. So the bicep curl, we've got some little light hand weights here. My suggestion would be a bottle of water in each hand or a can in each hand to create your weights, or if you've got some weights at home. Now shoulders stay back of the neck stays long, and you're going to do a set of 10 bicep curls, and then we're going to do that whole routine again on each side, whole routine again. So a set of 10 bicep curls. Really important as you're doing a bicep curl not to let your shoulders roll forward or your neck to go forward. It's nice to be able to lift without pressure in your neck. So keep your shoulder blades back and your collarbones open, and we'll just do a set of 10 bicep curls. And then we'll go back to the wall press. So we're going to do 10 more of each of those. So wall press, nice and long in the back of the neck, little mini press up on the wall. Keep your core engaged so your back arch doesn't increase or sag, and just creating for yourself a mini wall press to strengthen the front of your arms. No neck or shoulder pain with this, just make it a comfortable press. And then one more set of bicep curls. So again, the most important thing with your bicep curl is to make sure that your shoulder blades stay open, your collarbones stay open, and the back of your neck stays long. So we don't want your head forward or your shoulders forward, because that puts more pressure in your neck and also your shoulder tendons. So staying nice with your posture, and we'll do a set of 10 bicep curls. Beautiful. Once we've done that, we'll do 2 more glute exercises, because the glutes are really important for pelvic stability. So let's start with a step up. So at home you can use either a book or a phone book if you've got one, or a small step if you've got a step up into your house. You'll take your right foot up onto the step and lean your chest forward, and then press through the heel to pull you up into a step up position. And let's do a set of 10 on the right. So as you come down the step, you're going to bow. So a bit like bowing to the Queen or bowing to a crowd, you're going to fold yourself forward. Try not to let your right knee shift forward. Your weight's going to stay back on the heel, so your shin bone's kind of roughly vertical. So it's a bit more like taking your hips back. You'll press through the heel as you come up the step. You can have your fingertips on something light nearby for balance. Then we'll swap sides. So pop the left foot up on the step, be nice and tall, and then bow to tap behind you. The other key mistake that some people make with this is springing off the back foot. So make sure the back foot is not pushing you up, but the leg that's on the step is actually pulling you up. So you press through the left heel and let it pull you up the step. Now your choice here, we're going to do another set of 10 on each side. If you're too fatigued already, then have a break or just do 5. So let's go through 10 here for those that are willing to do that. So nice and tall through the body, folding through the hips. Try not to let your knee track in, because that's a common mistake that can happen. So the knee stays over the second toe and you're folding at the hips and just tapping that foot behind you and pressing through the heel to come up. Almost like you're about to jump off something really tall. So when you come up to the top, be really long in your body. Swap sides. So you'll do a set of 10 now on the left side. So again, long body as you're upright, and then you'll fold through the hips and keep the pressure on the heel. Don't let the knee roll in. And we'll just do a set of 10 on this side. And like I said, if you're fatigued already, then you can just stick with a set of 5 here or have a little break, because this is stronger. Great. Once you've done 10 on each side, Then you'll have one last glute exercise to do. And the way I would suggest that we do this is at home if you've got either a sock or a piece of laminated paper for your slider. So for the slider, what you'll do is stick your bottom out a bit like you're closing a drawer behind you with your bottom. Try to keep the weight back on your heels so your knees aren't tracking forward. Then you'll take your weight onto your right heel. Keep your left leg quite light and you'll just slide that left leg out and back. Let's just do 5 before we stand up and swap sides. So you'll just slide the left leg out and back, not too far, stand up, have a little break, and then we'll swap sides. So always start even, then take the weight onto your left heel, and then slide that foot out and back 5 times. We'll do 2 sets of 5. You keep the sliding leg quite light, so you don't want to push on the sliding leg. If you imagine that sliding leg's like on a plate of glass, you're not going to crack it. You keep the weight back on your heel, don't let your knee track forward. And like I said, a bit like closing a drawer behind you with your bum, you stick your bum out to do this and you should feel some gluteal work. Great. So that concludes our routine. Try now just to finish off with just a few shoulder circles to loosen off the shoulders. And then with your knees soft, you can just have a little roll down to stretch out your back and stretch out the back of the hips and the hamstrings. So exhale, lower down, and then inhale, lower back up. And we'll try that once more. Exhale, lower down. You can have your knees generously bent here and then inhale, come back up. We hope you've enjoyed your home mat work routine to try and keep your postural muscles strong and your hips and pelvis strong while you're at home.